Howdy folks, this is Wandering Mind 25. I'm here to show you my progress on the Nintendo retro gaming system. So I'll start with the power buttons over here. So you got your power and restart. What I ended up doing is I put a resistor in there, and I also modified the contacts. See, zoom in here for you. Alright. This right here would normally power the LED, this one on the end as well as this one on the end as well, the two wires coming in. However, I noticed before that I didn't notice before, the reset button also makes contact with this pad. So when you press the reset button, the LED would flicker, it would do something. Well, in my case, that's not a good thing to happen. I don't want voltage going across the wrong pin uncontrollably. In my case, it just doesn't fly. So what I ended up doing is I actually scratched the connection right there so that it's no longer making contact, and I soldered in this little nasty looking soldering job right here. I actually soldered these two pins together, and the one pin is actually a resistor, which, see if I can show that to you. So I have a resistor there. That is actually not a pin. It was just a hole. I jammed the resistor in there and I soldered it, and then I connected it to one end of the LED. So I have the two connected, and then so what I'll have is I'll have one wire over here which will go to the right side of the LED, and then I'll plug into this side of the resistor to my Pi to actually grab voltage in and then out. So that's how that's going to work. And then the remaining switches for the two buttons will go out through these wires as well. So that is how I have the main off, on, reset buttons and LED working. So let me show you what I have everywhere else. Zoom out. So in here, I've modified the case a little bit. Nothing really new on the front. On the back, I have the power button. This is the main power, and then I have a fuse, so that's for safety. It's a 5 amp fuse. It's rated for 10 amp. I'm not sure if that's too little or not. And then I have the power coming in, which is just a standard 3-prong AC. And over here, I cut these two holes out, made them a little bit bigger. Put an RJ45 jack as well as an HDMI port. And the jack, I bought all this stuff off Amazon, but the jack I could have easily gotten from Home Depot. It's just a simple wall jack. Now the HDMI port here, this is just a male to female 8-inch wire. So if I were to show you this end, it's just, that would be the male end, and this would plug into my Pi. Now I'm finding that the 8 inches is probably just a little shorter than I'd like it to be, because I don't have a lot of control to move around in here. So hopefully that doesn't mean that I have to go and buy another one. What I'm probably end up doing is, it's not going to probably be the prettiest thing, but I'll probably just hot glue the underside or back here for support so this stays where it needs to stay. And I will put some headers, or not headers, some kind of pin risers that will allow my Pi to kind of sit up a little bit. And I'll plug this guy in to the side of it, and it'll be sitting in the middle of the Nintendo. So when I open up the door, I can see the SD card. I'm hoping for that. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm not sure how that's going to work because I don't have any risers just yet. So I'm still kind of playing this by ear. So at this point, I have power, reset, and LED covered. I have power coming in. I have network and video. That should be everything. Eventually, once this is all done, I'm probably going to make one of these holes here for where the controllers are coming in. I'll probably make those USBs, or at least one of them USB, and maybe I might rig up the other to be just an NES controller port. But that will probably be long after I've completed this and I've moved on to another project, came back to it. But So at this point, yeah, that's what I have thus far. I know one thing, I ended up having to flip the switch around because the way it was configured, or at least the way I was reading documentation, they had it wired so that like the light, the LED on this little button right here was always on, and I don't want that. I want it only when I actually turn it on. And it was just a matter of just flipping it upside down, and just then I could follow the diagram that I read, which I can show that to you actually. Okay, can we see that? Okay, that's not it. Was that it? No. No, like this, that's it. Okay, I'll zoom into that. Alright, now in my case, if I were to wire like that, originally I had these two prongs on this side. So all I did was just pop that out and then flip it around so that power coming in goes to this, and then it'll go across, you know, the switch, and then on this side is where the LED is. So only when you flip the switch and power going in will actually cross over. If this was flipped over the way it was, the LED would be always receiving power because you're getting power in, and then it'll go across the LED whether the switch is flipped or not, and then you have your power going out. So that's why I flipped that around, and eventually I'll have that soldered and all hooked up, but that'll be another day. So that's what we have on the switch. So that's what I have thus far. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next. Bye.